This is the Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show. It's a show full of informative chat and inspirational messages. The Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show on podcast.
Hi, my name's Matthew Lawford, and in 2008 I was diagnosed with an Oligodendroglioma. So essentially it's a glioma, and they called it an incidental finding. So I was there, and all of a sudden it was like, boom. It happened during a bicycle incident. So I was out with a bike, and I built a bike for a friend, and we kind of collided. I came off and banged my head on the road. And, I was fine. I then got home and I couldn't string words together. So it was, I suppose, a seizure of sorts. But my gran was there. She took me to the doctors. Doctor obviously sent me to get an MRI. And they found a little tumour about that size. That's just on the left-hand side. So then I was a bit shocked. My gran was super shocked. She's not with us anymore. So then the first operation was at a place called Addenbrooke's in Cambridge, and it was okay. I mean, the guy went in, pulled out enough stuff, I suppose, and then I went home. Every year after the Addenbrooke's, I had to go for an MRI, and that was in London at the Royal Marsden. I think it was 6 years later, I was running a bike shop at that time. Made a bunch of bikes for people who rode around in popular guise. Then, of course, the tumour decided to say, hey, I'm still here. Then once, I think 6 years or 7 years, he said, it's time for you to go and get a resection. So I was like, okay, this is a bit weird, because I thought Cambridge had done it. There wasn't any research in it. I spoke to the surgeons, I spoke to doctors, and, they're very blasé about the whole situation. So I was like, okay, so I need a resection. That's fine. And then I decided to go to Italy. Lorenzo Bello. I mean, Italy is, it should have been amazing. And through that process, the NHS paid £12,000. And then I had to find the other bits. But while I was out there, Lorenzo Bello decided to pull out a big amount of the tumour, having awake craniotomy. I took about 18 months to actually start talking and being a normal person. And they then said, well, you need another surgery. So then I went to London and had it done at Harley Street. Before it was grade 2, and then it became grade 3. So I went there for my surgery. And then, of course, I came out of the surgery. I started having seizures. I think I've had 3 or 4 ever since I left the place. Although I haven't had a seizure in about 3 weeks. So I think it was mainly to do with the drugs I was taking, because before I wasn't really taking any drugs. I was taking like a few, which kept the seizures away. Then the seizures started to come back in force, really. And I think the last seizure I had lasted for, a good amount of time. I came back here. Mum stopped for probably 4 weeks. And I think I had one seizure while she was here. It was like a mild seizure. The thing is, if we talk about seizures, then we talk about all the mild seizures. And that's just me not talking. That's not me forgetting stuff. That's just me being mute. So those things are pretty scary. But then you've got the actual full-blown seizures, which, again, I'm awake during the seizure. So that's when it gets really scary, because you're like, oh God, what if I don't get out of this? Because it's really scary. And when it goes on for so long, this tumour will kill me, which is a bit sad. But, when you sit with it, it's okay. It could be next year, it could be in 10 years, could be in 50 years. I don't know. I'm about to go through radiotherapy and then chemotherapy. So So I'll have 6 weeks of radiotherapy. That's an every Monday to Friday. And then after the 6.5 weeks, I get 6 weeks off and then 6 months of chemotherapy. And then in October, I'll be free. So that's the plan, is to beat it. And I think some people are scared, and I don't think they should be. I mean, to be honest, it's life. And some people are dealt a lovely hand, some people aren't. Some people are born not being able to see. And I was born with this thing, and there's not a lot you can do about it. So that point I'm trying to make is you've been given this and just enjoy it. That's the plan. Well, that's what I'm doing. You've got to stay positive, because certain people that aren't positive about it, they lose the lack of fight. And, if you're going to live until 60, then live until 60. You've got to think about tomorrow, because tomorrow is, every time you see the sun come up, that's a good day. I've got some positivity cards, and every day I turn over a new one and see whatever is good about that day. I mean, you can find peace in the rain and all of these things. So there are good things out there. Just stay as positive as you can. I'll show them to you. Hold on. Okay. It's called Positivity Vibes, right? And whenever you turn one over, it gives you little things, and your love is limitless. And find joy in the ordinary. So it's lovely. And there are, I don't know, I haven't counted them, but there are quite a few in there. That's another thing. I know it's not an actual thing, but walking around the shops and talking to people, that's also really, for me, that was really positive. So I just don't know. There are so many positive things about life, hence the stay positive card. Just stay positive. Don't ever let it get you down, because it got me down. It has done. But then you find joy in life. Like if ever you're having a bad day, the next day, as soon as you see that sun, perfect. Even if it's grey, it doesn't even matter. Just absorb the sun. And even if it's raining, just go outside, get some air in your lungs. It's perfect. And even if you can't, just, be there and look out the window. But if I'm having a bad day, I'm just down here in full on clothes and I don't want to wash, and I just feel like it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why on earth am I here? But then you stop and you think and you're like, oh, wow, this is why I'm here. So don't ever get the why am I here situation down. You need to sort of maintain that positivity. Positive vibes. That's what you've got to do.
This is the Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show. It's a show full of informative chat and inspirational messages. The Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show on podcast.